Hi students, in today's session we'll discuss the immune system. As you know, we are exposed to the antigens, or we are surrounded with a n number of antigens, but we amazingly stand healthy because a system in our body which protects against the invading pathogens, and that system is called immune system. Let us start with the immune system. Okay, so look at here. We are surrounded with foreign substances, or we call it as antigens or pathogens, disease causing agents. It may be bacteria, viruses, fungi, or protozoa, or helminths. It may be anything. But we remain healthy despite of constant exposure to the microorganisms or pathogens or antigens. The question arises, the human body has a special system to protect infectious agents, and that system is immune system. So the system of our body which protects us from various infectious agents is called immune system, and the study of immune system is called immunology. The system of which protects us from various infectious agents is called immune system, provides immunity. Immunity means resistance against the disease causing agents or pathogens. Okay. When you talk about immunity, it is derived from a Latin word that is immunis. That means freedom, exempt. So immunity refers to the general ability of the body to recognize the pathogens. It may be bacteria, viruses, helminths, protozoa, fungi. It has a capacity to recognize the antigens. Either it may be self antigens or non-self antigens. One. Second one, neutralize the antigens or destroy the antigens. Once they are recognized, the immune system produces defensive barrier against the foreign substances, and those foreign substances are destroyed by immune system. Then last one, so after destroying the pathogens are eliminated out. So these are the characteristic features of immune system. They have ability to recognize the pathogen, neutralize with the help of defensive barriers. So after destruction, those waste substances are eliminated out. Okay. So resist a particular infections or diseases. Edward Jenner is known as father of immunity, the person who developed or invented a vaccine against smallpox. So regarding vaccine, we'll discuss in the further classes. And there are two types of immunities. One is innate immunity and second one is acquired immunity. The innate immunity is commonly known as non-specific immunity. The question arises, why it is called as a non-specific immunity? Because innate immunity provides protection against wide range of pathogens. It is not specific. That's why it is called non-specific immunity. And why non-specific immunity is called innate immunity? Because the innate immunity is present by birth. Innate immunity is present by birth. Okay. Whereas acquired immunity is called specific immunity because it provides protection against the specific kind of pathogens. And specific immunity is commonly known as acquired immunity because it develops after the birth. Before the birth, innate immunity; after the birth, acquired immunity. And one contrasting difference between acquired immunity and innate immunity is, in case of innate immunity, no antibodies are produced, whereas in case of acquired immunity, antibodies are produced. Let us start with the first one, innate immunity, inborn immunity, present since birth. Okay, and it is commonly known as natural immunity. Natural immunity. The inborn capacity of the body to resist against the pathogens or disease-causing agents. Either it may be bacteria, viruses, or any foreign substances. Does not depend on previous exposure to the foreign substances. That's why it's called non-specific immunity. So, the innate immunity possesses 4 barriers. One, physical barrier. Second one, physiological barriers. Third one, cellular barrier. Fourth one, cytokine barriers. So look at here, when you talk about physical barriers and physiological barriers, they forms the first line body defense. First line body defense. Whereas cellular and cytokine barriers, they forms the second line body defense. That means the first line body defense provides protection or prevents the invasion of pathogens. Invasion of pathogen, for example, skin, unbroken skin, which prevents the entry of pathogens. If it is broken, it becomes a potential site for entry of pathogens. So skin is a first line body defense. First line body defense. When first line body defense fails to perform its normal function, then second line comes into role. That includes cellular barriers and cytokine barriers. So let us start. The physical barriers are commonly called structural barriers. Okay. So these barriers which prevents the invasion of pathogens. Okay. So it includes the physical barriers, which includes one of the largest organ in case of human body, that is skin, and second one is mucous membrane. So skin and mucous membranes, they forms the first line body defense or physical barriers. Then second one, physiological barriers. Okay, so physiological barriers, which includes the secretion of various glands, which prevents or which has a ability, which has a chemical substances, which has a ability to kill or inhibits the multiplication of those microorganisms, and they forms the second line body defense. And third one is cellular barriers, which includes phagocytes, macrophages and phagocytes. Okay, these phagocytes are commonly called cell-eating cells, which has the ability to recognize the bacteria and ingest and digest with the lytic enzymes. Lytic enzymes. The fourth one is cytokine barriers. So the series of changes by chemicals released from the cells or infected cells includes cytokine barriers. Let us start with the first one, physical barriers. The body structures or structural barriers. The physical barriers prevents the entry of microorganism in the body. First one is skin. The second one is mucous membrane. Mucous membrane. The skin is the outermost layer of dead cells. Prevents the entry and growth of the microorganisms. We have keratinized cells, which prevents the entry of the pathogens, and the secretion of skin glands, which inhibits the growth of microorganism on the skin surface. The second one, mucous membrane. So mucous membrane, the inner lining of system which communicates with the surrounding environment. For example, digestive system communicates with the surrounding environment. Respiratory system communicates with the surrounding environment. Urinogenital system communicates with the surrounding environment, and all these system internally lined by mucous membrane, and the mucous membrane secrete mucus that traps the pathogens, or which prevents the invasion of pathogens into the body itself. So mucus coating of epithelial cells, okay, present in the respiratory tract, gastrointestinal tract, and urinogenital tract. So helps in trapping the microorganism entering the body itself. Cilia in the epithelial cells, especially ciliated epithelial cells, are present in the respiratory tract, which helps in trapping the pathogen and trapping the pathogen with the help of mucus. The second physiological barriers, tears. Lacrimal glands secrete lacrimal fluid, and the lacrimal fluid consists of lytic enzymes, and these lytic enzyme has a capacity to destroy the bacteria which enters into the eyes. It's a physiological barrier. Lysozyme enzyme in the saliva. So the bacteria enters into the buccal cavity or oral cavity either through food, water, air. So presence of bacteria in the buccal cavity or presence of any food material in the buccal cavity stimulates salivary glands to secrete saliva, and saliva consists of one lytic enzyme, that is the lysozyme enzyme, which has the ability to kill or destroy the pathogens. Okay, the next one, human milk. So mucus secretion from the nose, tears, look at here, contain hydrolytic enzymes which causes breakdown of bacterial cell wall. Lysozyme enzyme, same enzyme present in the saliva also, which has the ability to kill bacteria. Secretion from the skin. So in the skin you find two types of glands. One, sweat glands. Second one is sebaceous glands. The secretion of sweat glands and sebaceous glands or oil glands has lactic acid and fatty acid. So lactic acid and fatty acids maintains the acidic pH on the skin surface, that is approximately 3 to 5, and acidic pH on the skin surface which inhibit the growth of microorganisms, especially fungi and bacteria. That's why it is a bactericidal and fungicidal. So HCl in the gastric juice. Some of the bacteria which escape from the action of lytic enzyme or lysozyme enzyme, action of lysozyme enzyme in the buccal cavity, those bacteria are destroyed by the hydrochloric acid present in the gastric juice. So not only the acidic juice secreted by the gastric gland, in the vaginal secretion also you find which is acidic in nature, which has the ability to kill the microorganism which enters into the different parts. So this forms the first line body defense, physical and physiological barriers. Next we'll move on to the cellular barriers. The cellular barriers, the cells are involved in destroying the pathogen, the traps and destroying the pathogens. For example, phagocytes 1, macrophages 2, and third one is natural killer cells. So these cells has the ability to kill or destroy the pathogens. Natural killer cells, phagocytes, macrophages, they are the types of white blood cells, and they are commonly called PMNLs. PMNL. PMNL stands for what? PMNL stands for polymorphonuclear leukocytes. Polymorphonuclear leukocytes. Okay. So these are the types of RBC. Types of RBC. Is that clear to you? So these cells has the ability to kill or destroy the bacteria or pathogen by the process called phagocytosis. So phagocytes, which recognize the bacteria and establish the contact with the bacteria. At the point of contact, they develops a finger-like projections called pseudopodia. With the help of pseudopodia, it engulfs the entire pathogens. So after ingesting, the white blood cells secrete lytic enzymes, and with the help of lytic enzyme, intracellular killing takes place. Intracellular killing takes place, and this process we called as a phagocytosis. The second type of cell is called natural killer cells. That means, I forgot to mention one thing. The macrophages and phagocytes are plays very important role in the process of phagocytosis. The next one, natural killer cells. These are large non-phagocytic lymphocytes which provides protection against virus infected cells and cancer cells. So NK cells, which destroy the two types of cells, one is virus infected cells, second one is tumor cells or cancerous cells. Once the NK cells recognized the virus infected cells, they establish the contact with the virus infected cells. At the point of contact, they release cytolysine and perforin. Perforin, which makes perforation in the virus infected cells, whereas cytolysine, okay, which lies the cytoplasm of virus infected cells. As a result of this, the virus infected cells gets destroyed by NK cells. Then last one, cytokine barriers. So cytokine barriers are antimicrobial or antiviral proteins produced by virus infected cells. And those antiviral proteins or antimicrobial proteins are commonly called interferons. Okay, a glycoproteins called interferons. So virus infected cells produce antimicrobial proteins or antiviral proteins, and those antiviral proteins are called interferons. And these interferons which protects neighboring cells from the viral infection. For example, so virus infected cell produces interferons, and these interferons enters into the neighboring cells. When after multiplication, when these viral particles enters into the neighboring cells, and the viral particles fails to multiply in the neighboring cells. Why? Because interferons which inhibits the growth of viral particles in the neighboring cells, or it blocks protein synthesis. Okay, so this completes the innate immunity. In the next session, we'll start with the acquired immunity. Thank you.